Hi, it's Ken, and today I wanted to talk about revocable trusts. I meet with many clients to start working on their estate plan, and one of their first comments is, "Well, I've heard about trusts, but we're not super wealthy. We don't have a complicated net worth. Our assets are pretty simple. We have a couple of kids. This is our first marriage, our only marriage, and we don't think we need one." Well, that may be the case, but for most individuals, most couples, a revocable trust will help a lot. And there are many, many benefits to having a trust. The first benefit of having a revocable trust and making sure that you title the assets into the trust, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but having the assets in the trust, you'll avoid probate court. And by that, I mean those assets that you title into the trust won't flow through probate court. Everyone has heard horror stories about probate court. It's expensive, it's time consuming, all of that. And a lot of those are true. Probate court isn't probably as bad as everyone thinks it is, but it is or can be expensive with attorney and court costs. It's definitely time consuming. There's a period of time that probate has to stay open before you can start making distributions to beneficiaries. So creditors have time to sort of raise their hand and say, hey, this person who passed away owed me money. So having a revocable trust and putting your checking account, your house, your personal belongings, your jewelry, all of that stuff into the trust will avoid probate court. Probate court is also public information. So if you're a private person, that's something that you may want to consider. Anyone can go to probate court, ask for someone's file who recently passed away, and look at their will, their list of assets, their net worth, their list of beneficiaries. All of that information is completely public information. So having a revocable trust isn't just for the wealthy. It's for the person who wants to get their affairs in order for their beneficiaries, for their family, in case something happens to them, and to make that a simple process. So if I have a list of assets and I don't have a trust, and those assets go through probate court, my executor needs to collect all of those assets, figure out who my creditors are, pay those people, hire an attorney, pay that person, and after so many months, start to be able to distribute those assets to my beneficiaries. So there's a change of ownership. You know, it's me now to the beneficiaries, and a lot of payments going out in the middle. Having a revocable trust and titling the assets into that trust now, while I'm alive, there's no change of ownership. The trust is deemed the owner. So when I pass away, that trust still owns those assets, and based on the provisions I put in that trust, my successor trustee will then make those distributions. So there's no need for extra deeds to my house because I've already done that, and the trust owns the house. The checking account, the investment account, all of those other assets, the trust is the owner, and the trust will continue to be the owner until the provisions in the trust say, all right, it's time to just pass out all the distributions, all of the assets, and close out the trust. It's really a simpler process, and the idea of making sure that all of your assets are titled into the trust is a big help for your executor or your successor trustee, because having to collect those assets could be a long and time-consuming amount of time. So there are many benefits to having a revocable trust, even if you're not super wealthy and even if you don't have a complicated estate. My advice would be to talk it over with your estate planning attorney, have him or her discuss all of the benefits, why it may make sense for you, and maybe it doesn't, but it's worth asking the question. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, like it, share it, and I'll see you soon.